For time's sake. For time's sake, let's sing strong. La 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 You gotta sing much stronger. I'm begging you, okay? Stronger. Strong niggan Bezrat Hashem. Shkoyach, everybody. Shkoyach. Okay, with a lot of tefillas for Tom, Ariel Torah Shtema, Ariel Ben Dorit, B'tol Shar Kol Chol Yisrael. It was such a pele. You see, the siyum we just did, you're not going to believe it. If you open up the daf in the Sefer, I have pages for whoever needs here. If you open up in the Sefer, we got to daf Sameches. We got to daf Sameches in the Sefer. We're going to start from Ayin Beis today, but we basically, in the Sefer that we're in, if you look, he starts off by saying Avram Avinu was a personal example to Yishmael. That's why he ran for the Bakar instead of sending Yishmael. He wanted to show Yishmael how a Yid does Torah, how a Yid goes and does mitzvahs, so he did it by himself. And that's why he went and didn't send Yishmael to go do it, because that's the greatest example. Our children seeing us enthusiastic and excited about mitzvahs. And then he goes on and says it's also the other way. And if you look in Daf Ayin, I couldn't believe this. I didn't plan it like this. But Rav Biderman speaks about the sugya I just mentioned of the siyum. The same exact thing about Miriam. Bas Mishmeres Bilga. The whole thing over here, he speaks about it. But the reason why I didn't want to do that today is because I knew I'd cover it a little bit this morning, but if you go to Ayin Beis, now we're up to the Parsha, which is crazy. There's a Torah here on the Parsha that we're in. Parsha Shmos. So I figured we'll try to make kasher everything. Randaf Ayin Beis. Now I know this is a very, it's a subject I've been speaking with some of the Balabatim here, and I still don't know exactly how to approach it. This is like stuff I deal with the Kola. We do these like sugyas and the Yoma, things that come up in the Kehillah. But here I think we'll do it in the context of Limud. By Hasidim, and we aspire to be Hasidim without any busha at all. At all. Get the inyan of getting together, of aseifa, of coming together and spending time together is not a cute thing, and it's not really optional, and it's not a luxury. Anyone that's tuned into Pnimiyas Avoda knows that it's a must. You can't not. You have to find times to be together. The worlds that we live in, and the modern societies that we live in, and the modern life that most of us have, makes it a little bit interesting. Because back in the day, why was it that like the Chassid can go to the Rebbe and the Chassidim can hang out for hours and hours, and it was no problem, at least most of the time, from what we hear from this farm? Like, why wasn't that an issue back at home? How come we don't have stories about the Rebbetzin waiting at home with the makel or something? Or, why? I mean, again, maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe it was. But the way we usually learn these things, Chassidim would go travel back in the day. You go see your Rebbe. Specifically by Simcha Bunim at Pshischa, when he was setting up shop in Pshischa, they would travel for months to go see the Rebbe. It wasn't like a Shabbos, a Shabbaton, or a Fabrengen. It took months and months to go. This is how Breslovers, how Neshos Chayil Breslovers explain the inyan of being okay with their husbands going to Uman for Rosh Hashanah, because they really felt and believed that their whole year depends on their husband and sons going to Uman for Rosh Hashanah. And all the chevra on the outside, the cynical mockers, keep on being cynical. If you're not in tune with the Pnimiyas of Rabbi Nachman's Torah, you'll keep on being cynical about it. But in the Pnimiyas Advarim, when you understand this as a mahalach of life, you really believe that my husband's nesiyah is our years depend on it. So too with certain Chabadskers that go for Tishrei, not Rosh Hashanah. Tishrei, it's not Rosh Hashanah. They go Tishrei to 770. So by us getting together, we live in a world that's not like that for most of us. Our children and our wives, they need us at home as much as possible. But when there is the option to be together, and even if it's of an hour or two, v'chulei, even if it's on Shabbos, just a fabrengen, a kiddush, a fabrengen after davening, a shalosh shudis, we don't have a p'tor to say, it just doesn't work for us. We have to go extra. And that's why I'm asking everyone this coming Shabbos. You'll see why I'm saying all this in the context of today's learning. With the Chevra here are working very hard with the shalosh shudis and the fabrengens. We don't do it every Shabbos, because then it really may be problems of Shalom Bayis, the Seder. But be'emet, to try to do a ma'amatz, because this world, what we're getting right now from the world, from getting kochos from the outside world without being together, is not just not good, it's dangerous. We're not supposed to be alone during weeks like this. During a week like this week, To think you could figure this out, how to navigate a week like this week alone? Sakonas nefashas. Pikuach nefesh. Mamish. Pikuach nefesh. You can't figure a week like this out alone. The truth is you can't figure out a Gilgul like this alone. That's the emes. So when there are times, the Sitra Achra knows, you should just know, and this is what we're going to be learning today, the Sitra Achra knows that when you didn't get together and pour out their hearts together and singing and the Ritvekas together, it stands no chance. No chance. Pirud, separation, that's their entry in. So therefore, if you look in Daf Ayin Beis, Rav Biderman is going to take us on this journey today based on everything we just said right now. Nagu, you see on the right column, Nagu Rabbi Meirei Hashem v'chosh v'ishmo l'isasef b'roiv am b'leil Shabbos kodesh. So by Hasidim more, it's the inyan of, not, I don't like to call it, it's not an oneg, okay? You've heard me go on rants on this already. Where's the oneg? It's not an oneg. Oneg is always jelly beans and uncomfortableness on the couch. That's not, I can't stand onegs, and you know this already, because the last thing it is oneg. It's more like nega, like changing around the letters. Oneg. When he says, sorry? I can't hear you.
He says the Lashon Shabbos Achim.
So we're, shniya, lat. Nogu Rabbi Meirei Hashem b'chosh v'ishmo l'isasef b'reim am b'leil Shabbos kodesh lezomer b'shvachin v'lasok b'divrei Torah l'is'aneg al Hashem u'l'yischazek ba'avodosah yisbarach shmoi mitoch ahavas chaverim ki ish echad b'lev echad. Now again, so you'll say, that means that every Friday night we have to be together. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to come to the shir to be Yotzei Zayin, to be a Yid. You don't have to, you just have to go to shul, chap a 10-minute minyan, and you're done. But if you want more because you know you need more, any opportunity there is for Sheves Achim Gam Yachad, you go for it. But where did this originate? Where did this inyan of sitting together really start? We find this already in Golus Mitzrayim. What's so interesting is that we always refer to the time of us being in Egypt as this long, long, devastating, dark period. How many psukim in the Torah cover Golus Mitzrayim?
7.
The actual Golus, all those years of us being in Golus Mitzrayim, how many psukim are dedicated for the Golus?
3.
Mamash. It's right there. We have all these midrashim that fill in the blanks, v'chulei. But from the pshat of the psukim, just a few psukim. But even that was enough for Paro to get freaked out from. So look what he says over here. Kedeis midrash, it's brought down in Shmais Rabbah, Melamed shehayu beyadan megilos, shehayu mishtashin bahem mishabes l'shabes, loimar shakadosh baruch hu go'alan. They had some type of a Megillah. They had some type of a manuscript that they would share with each other every Shabbos, and in this manuscript, they would share that it would say that the Rebbeinu Shalom is going to get us out of here. So the question we all have is, wait a second, how did they have the opportunity to actually spend any time with each other on Shabbos? They're avodim. They didn't have a break. So this is something we learned many times. Shabbos morning we say, Yismach Moshe b'matnas chelko. Moshe rejoices in his chelek. What's his chelek? Shabbos. Why is Shabbos the chelek of Moshe Rabbeinu? Because the Medrash tells us that Paro listened to the boy that grew up in his household. What did the boy that grew up in his household in his palace tell him? He said to him like this: "You want to hear Cha, Paro? If you could get more produce out of them, when you work someone non-stop, you may be working them the whole time, but what they're manufacturing is much less. If you give them one day off, and then work them harder again, they'll produce much more during the week." Oh, really? That sounds good. What day do you think it should be? So Moshe Rabbeinu was like, I don't know, like Monday sounds... Thursday, like Thursdays. No, Saturday, yeah. Paros, Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. And Moshe Rabbeinu gave them off Shabbos when they were still avodim in Mitzrayim.
How old was he?
And the Mudge... How old was who?
Moshe.
Over here?
Yeah,
when this story,
Yeah.
We don't know. I'm not gonna even speculate. We know how old Moshe Rabbeinu was by the burning bush, but I don't know. I don't know when this midrash exactly took place. But for whatever it is, it happened before the age of 80. That has to be, because they were still in the Golus Mitzrayim. So therefore, those Shabbosim in Mitzrayim, they're getting together doing this because Moshe Rabbeinu had this scheme and he pulled it off. And when Yidden have a chance to get together, Rav Shlomo has a deep Torah on this. I'm going to hopefully say it over Shabbos at a certain point. Mamash, a deep thing about what they were actually talking to each other about during the Sichas. Here the Midrash says they were reading this Megillah that said in there, you know what? You're going to get out one day. And like, I'm looking at us in the room right now, and welcome back, Aryeh. I can't believe what it's like. I can't even imagine what it's like to be a Yid in Chutz La'aretz right now, because I've had a few sichas with our chaverim in Chutz La'aretz this week. Hey, Shalom Aleichem, what's happening? All well-intentioned, sweet, good mamash. Zar lo yavin zos. If you're not here this week, there is no way to explain to someone who could be your best friend, who could be your sibling, who could be the greatest Talmid Chacham in the world, what it means to be broken over Nishmas Am Yisrael this week. From the beginning of this war, this week, I had the hardest conversations with people that truly couldn't sleep. Their kids couldn't sleep. This week was more of a mind mess than any other week so far. And it still is. Nothing's changed. So if that's the emes, what's the difference between back in Golus Mitzrayim and now? Zionism? Please, don't get me started with that. There's a Golus here that's so deep and thick to the bones of Nishmas Klal Yisrael that the only way to get out of it and snap out of it is Sheves Achim Gam Yachad. And to share Kasran Aluach Libecha, share the Megillah that's written on your heart, that knows that Ribbon Shalem is going to get us out of this mess. But Ribbon Shalem, until you get us out of this mess, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to function? This is what they were doing on Friday nights in Mitzrayim, and this is what we have to do. Shabbos is here. Behare, bottom of the paragraph, Shayum Yis'aschim b'Shabbos Kodesh v'Yischazek b'Tzavta Chada be'emuna b'Hashem Yisbarach. They got together to be strong, to give each other koyach, and say, we made it through another week. So the Baal Shem Tov instituted the Mizmor Kuf Zayin before Mincha and Shabbos, which is Kilu saying Hagomel, like we learned. Basically, Arba Tzrichim Lahodos, that's Tilim Kuf Zayin. Because the Baal Shem Tov says, basically, if you made it till Shabbos, through this Olam Hazeh, you should really bench Hagomel. And if that's true every week, can you imagine what it's like in a week like this? To bench Hagomel? That's just a little bit of a shtach to those that don't show up on time, so you don't know what I'm talking about. Mincha, Erev Shabbos. No, I love you. But come on time, it's an Indian. The Alpi Divrei HaMidrash Halalu, just to hear Dov scream, Tilim Kuf Zayin, it's worth, that's my initiation into Shabbos, right? Tilim Kuf Zayin, the Alpi Divrei HaMidrash Halalu, Bir Rav HaKadosh Rabbi David Milelov, the Heilig Elelev Rebbe Schissel Ganaleiner of Biderman Zelta Zayda, Beloshen HaKasush, Amar Paro, Lo Tosifun, Latet Teven La'am. It's a very interesting Loshen over here. What's Teven? What's that? Straw. It says, don't give any more straw for the people. But there's a very interesting problem with this pasuk. Shelichor Akosha, the im kavanaso milashon hosafa, if he's speaking about don't give any additional things, Haya lo lomar, lo tosifun. Mao shosif aleph. What's the aleph doing in this word tosifun? You see? Mm-hmm. You see what he's bringing up? Ela achenu milashon asefa. Lo tosifun. Don't gather together. Shari hayune sofim biyachad bechol Shabbos. And so Paro is like, wow, listen to Moshe Rabbeinu. I see this chevra. I see the chevra is getting together, and they're coming out like their spirits are they're coming back for work on Sunday, but there's something in their eyes. What's going on over here? I can't have them get together anymore. Shayu ne'esofim biyachad b'chol Shabbos bera paro sha'alidei hisasfuyos halalu omdim hema b'sokef emunas mukdushasam. Paro says all that spirit they tried to break every day of the week by making them avadim and breaking their hearts and souls and killing their spirit. They're together on Shabbos. They come out like Gevalds. There's a problem. Umishehusam yachdav hem shoavim kochos lenefesh koyach ugvura lahachzik mamad meshach kol hashavua haba. Being together gives them all the strength to make it through a whole week of Avdus. V'gam chashash sheyischaskus zo tochish lahem geula shlema v'tzes b'cherus olam mitachas yado. And he also had a fear. What was his fear? It's the same fear that all the Amalek Nazis that we're surrounded by have by us too. That's why they've had such a nachas ruach this last year and a half. They've had the gewalt, how much nachas they've had this last year and a half, these Nazis. Seeing all the different fights, legitimate fights and arguments. I'm talking about legitimate ones between parents of Chatufim that have different opinions. These are very legitimate arguments. You understand, Chavra? We can't open our mouths before these people. Tom sent me once. He sent me, I'm sure many of you were on this things he sends. Tom sent me Jonathan Pollard's idea, right after the Chatufim were taken. Like right after October 7th. Tom sent me that Pollard said, you have to grab all the families of the Chatufim and not jail them, but seclude them, put them away, so that no one can hear from them, because that's going to be the decisive factor of lechan or lechan, or cause of blow-ups within the Am if you hear that voice, because who could stand before that voice? The Inyan is, you can't function like that as in a war. But no one's going to do a thing like that. And look at the balagan we're in. Not to blame any of them. They're doing exactly what they need to do. Exactly what they need to do. So the Amalek has such nachas when he sees, they look at these, they really are against each other. But when it sees, like, despite everything, we're not against each other, when they have those moments, they're like, oh my God, they're going to actually get Mashiach. And that's what Paro felt in Mitzrayim, when he sees that no matter how much I'm breaking their spirit, they're still, because of Shabbos, able to hold on like it's no one's business. Al Ken Gazar, so according to this is, by the way, it's a whole chap from the Shem Yishmol, you see on the bottom, Sachot Shaver Rebbe, Al Ken Gazar Loto Sifun, right? I mean, it starts from Lelva Rebbe, but the Shem Yishmol goes into in depth. Loto Sifun, Shelo Yitchasku Yoter B'Shabbos Achim Gam Yachad, ואז ייכנסו בשלמוס תחת יד מצרים ברוח ובגשם, ולא במהרה יוכלו לצאת מתחת יד מצרים. We have to make a situation over here that it won't be so easy for you guys to get out. It won't be so easy for you to feel that it's actually possible after 76 years of such mishigas here, that there's actually a chance to wipe out Amalek from the face of Eretz Yisrael. So I want to make so over here, Paro, our Inyan is the same exact thing. Don't make it easy for you to imagine that it could actually be Gan Eden in Eretz Yisrael. Chas v'shalom. And they're going to do everything in their arsenal to make sure we remove from our minds the imagination that it could actually be like this. And that those of you that have sons in the army are, like Rav Shlomo said, that when Mashiach comes, what are you going to need an army and policemen for? That if someone walks by you on the street and ignores you, they get a ticket. It's nowhere near our hasagas, this type of thinking. No, we're not kashur to that. It's nothing. When you say a word like that, you don't know if you should laugh or you should cry. But to say that my son and my daughter, they should, at the age of 18 and 19, lose kimat any remnants of innocence. No, that's mekubal, because that's darko shel olam. That's darko shel paro. It's not darko shel olam. That's not darko shel olam. That's paro in Chassidus. Paro. It's from the Baal Shem Tov on the parsha. Paro is the orif. The orif. I learned the word for it yesterday in English. You know how you say Ellie's not here? Nape. Yeah, I didn't know this. Nice word. The nape of the neck. N-A-P-E. What is orif? What's this? What's going on over here? Here, without getting too crazy, is where any das that you have flows out of you from the back. Paro is the hefech of das. Moshe Rabbeinu is das. Paro is the hefech of das. Lo yadati is Hashem. I don't know this God you're talking about. That's Paro. And of course, when you have that flowing out of you and you have no das, then what comes out of your mouth? Ra. Pe ra. Paro. Moshe Rabbeinu, min hamayim, from the das of Torah, meshisiu.
The name Paros, the letters are the same as well? Mm-hmm. Just the letters are the same? Is that the
Yeah. Because the Eiref and this is Baal Shem Tov. I'm not making this up. Ukvar hevi ha'orachayim ha'kodesh chiseg and alenos divrei ha'midrash al ma shenemar v'yakel Moshe kol adas b'nei Yisrael v'yomer lehem eila advarim eshetziva Hashem la'asos osam Rav Chaim brings what the Medrash says about the pasuk in Vayakel. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Aseh lecha keilot gdolot, ujerush lifneim barabim, and darshem beforeham barabim. Kedei sheyilmedu mimcha doros habayim lehakil kehilos bechol Shabbos v'Shabbos, so that future generations, the generations that are going to make it and come to Eretz Yisrael, you're going to set up shop and not just build shuls that offer minyanim, but you build kehilas of Sheves Achim Gam Yachad, lehi kahel, to come together. That's the point. Vayakel Moshe is called Adas. I remember the Slonimer says that Adas is the same letters as Das. That true Das can only come through Vayakel, through being together. You can't do this stuff on your own. We're not the Rebbe. You know, the Rebbe learned alone. Right? Bavitcher Rebbe. He didn't have chavrusas. He was a kid. He learned alone. We're not the Rebbe. Reb Nachman, I think he learned alone. He was always learning. He's always learning, but alone. It's not. It doesn't work here. It doesn't work today. Al Pizei Bir Rav Chaim HaKadosh, next page. It's Lashon HaPasuk. Vayakel Moshe is called Adas Bnei Yisrael. Vayomer Aleim. What did he tell them? Eile hadvarim. These are the words. Hakalas ha'eda udrishas ha'torah tziva Hashem la'asos osam. What does it mean, Eile hadvarim? It doesn't refer to what's coming up later, because right afterwards, in Vayakel, when it says they gathered them together, and he said, these are the words, so what does he start speaking about over there? Does anyone remember? Shabbos. He starts talking about Shabbos. So the Rav Chaim HaKadosh is saying, what's the dvarim that Hashem commanded to do? He commanded Sheves Achim Gam Yachad. And when does that usually happen? Shabbos. That is Darko Shalayim. Because during the week we're doing our things and it's great and everyone has to get together. Shabbos, we're meant, this shul was built, this kehillah was built for a Torah like this. This is not a minyan factory. This is not a place that you like the chulent. Even if you do like the chulent, you understand what I'm saying? And Chevra, I'm going to say something very charif right now. It's sad and be'emet, shocking, that a place like this that exists here is a chiddush. It's actually embarrassing. Honestly, it's embarrassing that this place is a chiddush in Eretz Yisrael and it's a chiddush in Efrat. It's embarrassing. This is not how it should be. That this place should be considered a chiddush, and we have to conquer all of Eretz Yisrael with this consciousness and set up shop in every area where Yidden are getting together and saying there's going to be a place that where you live, your shul is the place that, yes, you go and daven, you hear Kriyas HaTorah, it's where your talis, maybe you keep your tefillin bag during the week, it doesn't matter. But it's also the place that you get out of Galus. It's also the place of Sheves Achim Gam Yachad. That's what it has to be. It has to be. Chayav liyot. That's Eila Dvarim Asher Tziva Hashem La'asos. So that's Vayakel Moshe. It's called Adas. It's the Das Bnei Yisrael. Of course, we have to go to Zaidi over here. Ke'en ze'ita gam me'arav HaKodesh Chidush Yarim al kol yisasus Bnei Yisrael b'tzav tachada lav davka b'Shabbos Kodesh. The Chidush Yarim is saying anytime you didn't get together, not only on Shabbos, and we also saw this in the Tanya recently. Kol be'asarei shchinte, right? Anytime there's Yidden get together, the Shechin is there. Ve'amar ki ha'knisiya va'itchabrut mi'Yisrael meisir ha'chumrius ve'agashmius v'bnei Yisrael. He's saying the gathering and the connecting of Yidden, being together, all those layers of the stuff that we really don't want to be identified with are removed. They're plucked away. They go away. They go away. It's something we can't explain it. It's soul magnetism. We can't explain these things. But this is what happens when we get together. Not only on Shabbos. But if it's not only on Shabbos, that means especially on Shabbos. Especially on Shabbos. Remember the story that Rav Shlomo was on the plane one time and he sat next to someone and on the plane, without giving a te'ur, without giving a description of who the person was, and Rav Shlomo said to the Yid, they were leaving Eretz Yisrael on Motzei Shabbos. And some of the, I don't know how they afforded this, but some of the hippies from the Moshav were on the plane too. They were sitting there too. But Rav Shlomo turned to the guy next to him and said, "Tell me, how was your Shabbos?" He said, "Shabbos, Shabbos Gewalt, Shabbos." So then that guy went up to get a drink. And he was sitting, and the Chevre from the Moshav were in the back of the plane, and he was sitting and talking to them. The guy asked him, Tell me, how was your Shabbos? Shabbos? How was Shabbos? You think I could fathom? You think I could give you in words what we just had? This Shabbos? Guy comes back to his seat, sitting next to Rav Shlomo, and he says, Chatasi, Avisi, Pashati. I get it. I get it. How was your Shabbos? How was your Shabbos Achim Gam Yachad? How was your chance to dream again? That's what the question was. How was your chance to remove cynicism from your consciousness and your awareness? That's Shabbos. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. And that we are doing. And we have to do it stronger and deeper and better and more inviting and more welcoming and with more love, with more fire, with more passion. All the things we're doing, but more. Weiter, more. The Sheves Achim has the ability to purify those that come together from any tumah that they may have walked into Shabbos with. You understand? Wow, this is Gewalt. You know, the Imrei Noyam, you see over here he's quoting. Anyone know who the Imrei Noyam was? Jacob. The Imrei Noyam is the Jacob Rebbe. Ahavas Shalom is Vishnitz. Yid HaKodesh is the Yid HaKodesh. Beis Avram, who's Beis Avram? Slonim. They all say, Shetevas Vayakel, Oile Begimatria, Keminyan Mikveh. Vayakel, we saw this once before. The Gematria of the word Vayakel is the Gematria of the word Mikveh. The word of gathering is Mikveh. Ki Yeshivas B'nai Yisrael Behakel Mitar Asam Mikdush Asam Ketar Asam Mikveh. Uchen Ita, Rav HaKodesh Hashem Yishmuz, Chis Yagin Aleinu, Levair Amram Tuma Tchuya B'tzibur. Shebeyeshivas B'nai Yisrael B'tzibur Hatuma Nidches Umistalekes Mi'itam. It's a sugya in the Gemara, the Machlokes there, whether it's Tuma Huchra B'tzibur or Tuma Tchuya B'tzibur, without getting into it right now. But the Lashon that he's saying over here means that Tuma is rejected, Tchuya, it's pushed away. When? B'tzibur. When there's a tzibur.
Isn't the famous thing that if you don't have a mikvah, you go between your limbs and the entire year?
Well, if it was that famous, everyone would be like, of course, but no one heard that before. But I'll tell you where it's from. The original Rebbe. When Rav Weinberger came to us, hopefully the first time of many, but when he came that first time, when we were down by Bay Stone, how many of the Chaver were here then? It was probably almost nobody. Wow. It's a while ago.
I listened to it online.
Yeah, so, okay. So
I
you're there.
visited.
Huh?
I visited there. I davened there when we were in Beis.
You visited there, yeah. No, but when he was there, I'm saying it. When he came, he said that story. He said that story. The original Rebbe, they saw him doing that when he was dancing. He was like doing tnuas of tvila in a mikveh while he was dancing with the Yidden. And they asked him, "What's going on over here?" It was that word, what you just said.
It's very
It's
interesting.
exactly that.
Because, Shlomo, you mentioned before that the Tanya just mentioned this getting together. The Shekhinah is there, 10 guys.
Chaver, you notice what happened? One of your brothers started talking, and then everyone starts talking. Mikveh Yisrael Hashem. Give cover to whoever is sharing. And there's a microphone there now, so we're picked. So, Bemet, anytime, that's why I put it there. No, stop.
If I remember correct, the context that the Alter Rebbe was even saying it is that even if it's a minyan of 10 people that aren't holding the Torah and mitzvahs, when they get together, the Shekhinah is still there. And that really ties together very beautifully with maybe even when they get together and they're not holding Torah and mitzvahs, they're still being matayar. That's why they should get together.
Exactly, same exact words over here. Same exact words. We don't even understand this. We can't even understand what's going on over here. Is that why you said it?
No.
Okay. שמעתי מרבוסי כי אילו נמצא מלאך אחד עומד במעמד עשרה מישראל ביחד, אף שאינם מדברים בדברי תורה, תיפול עליו אימוסה ופחד בלי גבול ותכליס, משכינתא דשריה עליו, עד שהיה מזבטל ממציאוסו לגמרי. Wow. What did he say? This is Gewalt. What did he say over here? He said over here that basically, how do you get rid of malachim? Not to get rid, but how does a malach batal the mitzias? We talk about malach. You know malachim are not accustomed to, you know what they don't really have going with them? Shechina. Shechina is not an inyan of malachim. Malach is not about bechira. It's something that does a shlichus. Boom, done. He says the Baal Rebbe says that he heard from his teachers that if one malach stood in a minyan of Yidden, and what would happen, even if they're not saying words of Torah, even if they're not shuckling, but they're together, he would completely vanish from the pachad of the Shechina that exists in the presence that he's in. Now let's bring it down to here right now, and I want you to, with me, be vulnerable. Are these vorts, or do we believe right now that the Shechina is in this room right now? Here. Breathe that in for a second. These are not vorts. This is our derech chaim. This is how we're choosing to live our life, Chevron. This is not, don't go home and say, I learned something this morning. I mean, if that happens, say it there, but that's not the point. It's a derech chaim. It's a way of living. It's a way of choosing. This is going to be my game. This is what it's going to be like. Awareness, consciousness. This is what's going on. He's saying this is happening whether you realize it or not. So why not, if you do realize it, why not plug yourself into it and daven to Hashem to send you the kelim to absorb that and make that more something that you feel accustomed to, and make it your teva, make it your nature. All the talk, pnimius, all these words that are being thrown out today as if they're like this, offering new frisbees, like, understand something. Pnimius is actually just like stopping. Wait, this is not theology. This is not a thought. This is a derech chaim. This is a way of activation. This is a way of life, a way of living. And we have no luxury to not go there anymore. Without this inyan of drawing down moments like this into our lives, the world still seems very scary and dangerous. But what? When this is our derech chaim, utzu etza v'sufra, dabro dar v'dakum ki imanu kel, al tira mipachat pisan. U'mishayis v'shayim kisavo. There's an al tira. Nothing. No fear at all. Sheves achim gayachad, vayakel Moshe. There's no fear at all with anything. Okay, we'll just end over here. B'shem Yishmuel. Maybe ke'en ze b'shem Rav HaKodesh Reb David Milelav shekol makom sheyesh bo Atzeret Yisrael afilu malach sheba lesham mismaged mipachad mishum dekol bei asarei shchinte sharia. The same exact thing. Same thing. So I give us a bracha be'ezer Hashem Yisbarach. Please, Hashem. We're trying so hard to not lose our marbles, to not lose our minds over the truly difficult mitzias that we've been thrown into in this world. And we want to do all this l'shem shamayim. We want it to be l'shem shamayim. We want to do it be'ahava. We want to do the things that we take on. How do we know if it's for real? If there's less judgment I have on those that may seem to be what we call checklist Yiddishkeit. If I take on something and it brings about noticing more how other people aren't doing it, it means what I'm doing is on the outside. If I take on something and the pnimi is in a real deep way, then the way that Lamish, I reish pei beis every place I go, I azamra every place I go, every place I look at, with those eyes, I elevate each place that I go. To. It should be from our chelik to make a real change, a real besaira for Am Yisrael. Shabbos, everyone.